lost to Fuzzy Mage and High Spirits, won against Brilliant and Insane. Runners be getting going here. They have a forced party member of a fighter tonight. Bringing an optional black belt on DD's side, and the All Mage party on Solaris' side. So definitely a different strategy. Great to see route divergence. And I am joined tonight by Will Siosis. How you doing tonight, Will?
Good evening, Trenton. Pleasure to be here. Speed Gaming, Cyclone GU, Feasel, everybody. The main event tonight, Sunday night, and we're off.
Not much to speak of in the Black Magic side. The White Magic side is loaded.
Visibility 2, Exit, Life. Which one was in slot 2?
Life is in slot 2.
Slot 2 is the original Harm slot that's going to be locked to the White Mage and the White Wizard.
A little unfortunate that you can't stick that on a night, but hopefully you don't need too many charges. We've got Silver Sword for sale here, which might be important in this seed without the magic, but so far nothing really they can use to attack with. They gotta go with Confuse.
Confuse.
So,
decent spell, not the greatest. It'll work in a pinch. Both our players tonight selecting the 3 Mage party, Rainbow party, along with a fighter. Pretty classic pick for the Swiss rounds so far.
Actually, that's only on Solaris' side.
Oh, wait a second.
He has brought the black belt, which could actually be an early advantage because with no spells, you're going to have to knock Garland down the old-fashioned way.
Ooh, by hand? People still do that, Trenton?
You know, sometimes you have to.
I suppose, yeah.
It also poses an interesting routing choice of, do you grind around Crescent Lake trying to find a weapon or to buy a certain weapon, or do you go to Temple of Fiends and gamble that there'll be a weapon?
Right, or do you even potentially maybe think about jumping over to Dwarf Cave? And there's 2 chests over there, potentially, you know, maybe even an AoE casting weapon or even defensive weapon.
Yeah, we've got 5 potential chests that they could get to right at this moment that could open something up. Or this is the path of safety, which is to take these fights around Crescent Lake, get a few levels.
The floater.
And the floater's for sale here. That's important.
25,000 gold. Cabins right now are probably pretty important at this point. 93 gold, not horrible. SolarysDrix has opted to go ahead and head to the Temple of Fiends. He picks up a whole heal potion in the first of the 3 chests.
Zombies can mess with your day. It's a double-sided blade. Oh, dude, yeah, there's no way you're doing Temple of Fiends and get past Garland without that fighter, so automatic reset.
Yeah, Zombies took out the fighter. SolarysDrix quickly resets and finds a ribbon and 1,500 gold in the other 2 chests. Those were a little bit better than the first one.
That's pretty substantial. It might even make me run back to Corneria, because now there's enough money to buy that Silver Sword. That could easily be a difference maker to get past Garland.
Maybe take a shot with Confuse at Garland in the beginning, perhaps? If that doesn't work, definitely go back, I would think.
Save at least.
Yeah.
But I'm just worried about having enough firepower.
SolarysDrix the first to take on Garland. Does fire the Confuse spell. Looks like it hits right off the bat. Garland attacks Garland themselves for a whole 2 damage.
Well, the good thing, well, there's multiple good things. Garland's doing damage to himself. He's not doing damage to you, and he's not using some nasty skill or spell against you. He won't use a skill or spell against himself. He'll only physically attack. But it's preventing him from doing anything to you.
Right, 9 damage. Garland hits Garland for 30 damage. Garland knocks himself out. SolarysDrix is the first to the Princess Sarah to rescue her.
Cuff got the job done, and King with the crown. And we got the canoe. And Garland down on both sides.
Both players are going to have a decision to make here. Money. They need money, Trenton. You know, do you try to head towards the volcano, maybe, perhaps a bulk density chest? Is the Marsh cave an option? Turning in the crown, doing a crown quest. Lots of different ways our players could go here, because that floater is going to be pretty important. And considering the floater is canoe locked, and they have the canoe, that's probably the next big quest item.
Yeah, I think starting at least the... they're not able to finish... Well, they would be able to finish the crown quest. Now that I think about it, it would be just a really horrible walk, but they could do it.
Yeah, it'd be one hike there, Trenton. Woo, I'd be sweating on that one.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to Elfland and seeing what magic I can get there, because that can give me a lot more time than taking these fights around Corneria with no weapon. You can do this, but you have to invest a whole lot of time for 25,000 gold. I think it's faster to come back. Alright, and so both of our runners have started going in a different direction. The other big thing is, if you move out of the area and you come to Dwarf, you get the chance for a big pile of gold. We don't get it, but we have the chance.
Yeah. They got a cabin. Cozy. On your way south here, Trenton, do you go ahead and stop off and attempt to take on Astos with the limited spell selection and weapon selection as well, or do you actually bypass that here?
I don't think there's anything to be gained by taking him on now. The reason to take him on would be a time save to not double back, but you're going to get through it faster. So I don't see an advantage to doing that.
I would think perhaps I might take a shot at him. It looks like SolarysDrix is going to pass. I think it's probably the best play. I like taking shots at things. I would save outside, go in and maybe take one, maybe two. See if it could make something happen to maybe potentially save that double back in a risk type scenario. Looks like that's what DD Gaming is going to do, so we'll see what Astos has here.
Well, always has the crystal, at least under the Swiss flag rules. Got invis too, so should prevent melee damage, but you're more worried about Astos rolling up something nasty on the magic side. The black belt is armed, so that's helpful.
Ice 3 available, level 3 black magic, that's pretty good.
That's fantastic. It really opens up the Volcano as an option. Fade at level 3.
Is that life 2 level harm 4? Wow, the white magic is loaded so far in the early game, Trenton.
Who cares about harm when you can have fade?
Yeah, we don't need that.
And life 2.
Yeah.
In fact, is the life 2 red mage learnable is my question.
Life 2, I believe, was in the 4th slot, and in level 3 white magic, I believe the red wizard and red mage are both locked to slots 1 and 3. So I don't think Life 2 is learnable if it's in the 4th slot.
Okay, so this is not the red mage seed. But, you know, for the fades at level 3, this makes a strong case for rerolling for the double white mage. I can see why they wouldn't want to do that with Garland, though.
Yeah, Garland was tough to take down. But speaking of taking down, DD Gaming is able to take down Astos after a little bit of a longer than usual battle, but Astos is down. He's got his crystal now.
Alright, one step closer, and there's the cube.
With no bridge at this point, do you continue to head to Provoca, get that incentivized item, taking out the pirates and getting level 2 black magic? Do you consider stopping off at Volcano and doubling back? What do you think is the play here, Trenton? What would you do?
I'm looking for Pete's.
You're going to do some peds, okay.
I am looking for money. If I'm going anywhere, it's Armory at Volcano and see if that has a bunch of stuff for me. Looks like Solaris maybe checked first encounter. There's actually, I think it's 3, but it might be 4 different encounter zones right around Crescent Lake. So just because you don't get Pete's first in one spot doesn't mean you won't in another.
Right.
And a few of those could really fund your war effort.
It looks like he actually passed up a giant fight in the beginning. If you're going to take fights looking for money, the giant one is quite good. It's a good option here. So it doesn't seem to me like SolarysDrix has any interest in that type of strategy at this point in time.
No, actually, it looks like Solaris is going to Provoca, which is interesting. It's not going to be the ship, so navigation's not going to be helped here. You can still get an incentive item. You could still get the spells out of level 2.
Right.
But this moves you further away from money and further away from the floater.
Right, and it gives you more options to spend money. I mean, what if you see a 250 gold silver bracelet that's, it's hard to pass up at this point in time to stick on like a white mage.
I think I can pass on armor right now, except maybe for the fighter. Might have to buy it. But Fade doing some damage on DD's side. Which, very reliant on that Fade right now. Without a Black Mage, we still have a chance. I'm not even sure we saw level 4 Black Magic. I think we only saw level 3.
Right, SolarysDrix went ahead and left shortly after the level 3 and 4 White and Black Magic over in Elfland.
So there's a real difference between the first 4 levels of Magic and any after that. Now, level 5 is still a reasonable amount of casts, but not many. Like, it'd be enough for a decent boss fight, but for Nuke to be able to clear out a room for you, or help you clear out a dungeon, you really need it to be in the first 4.
Couple of stoned light warriors right now for DD Gaming's. I would think that he's going to go ahead and head to see if soft potions are for sale here in Elfland. I know they were in Canaria. I think they were about 600 gold.
Cure 3 at White Magic level 2. Quad X is big. Fuchsia asks, why are they grinding? Well, we know where the floater is, and we know it's 25,000. So I think they're looking for enough that they feel comfortable diving a dungeon. Personally, I'd love to see somebody make the Volcano dive. First
I like
floor
the Volcano play.
has enough treasure chests. You've got Fade to get you there.
Confuse spell being put to good use again from SolarysDrix. Pretty effective on the pirates.
Did he not have a Fade charge?
Now, Fade being level 3, I don't think SolarysDrix has enough levels right now to have a Fade charge.
Well, the good news is it's the pirates. You basically just have to blow in their general direction and they fall over.
Yes, perhaps throw some harsh language at them, and they might go down.
They'll go down to a Yo Mama joke.
They will, especially one from the Joker MB. SolarysDrix goes ahead and takes down the pirates, talks to Bicky afterwards, and it looks like he picked up the bottle. So the bottle is the incentivized item here in Provoca.
So the picture's starting to come together. We've actually only got 4 spots left unaccounted for right now. It's just an interesting position to be in where both runners know where the floater is, but don't have the ability to get it yet. And how are they going to get there? So Solaris is moving away from Pop, which had to be a temptation, and I'm preferring to see that.
Definitely a potential option of the Peninsula Power. Giants, Zombols, he's got the Fade charge as well. I can only think Volcano. I can only think that Armory to see how much money's in there. Perhaps a real weapon that we talked about earlier to potentially use. Maybe an AoE casting spell or item or armor. A light axe. Maybe a Zeus Gauntlet.
Yeah, there's so much potential for that treasure to help you versus just the levels. The one thing I'll say on Solaris' side is, with his low levels, I'm not sure he'll have enough Fade charges. Like to have 3, maybe 4, to really do volcanoes safely, you can still do it without that, especially if you've got Ice 3 on the Black Mage.
Level 7 and 8 for DD Gaming's at this point. Looks like he has taken care of his petrification problem, and grinding outside of Elfland? No, changed his mind. DD Gaming's might have been thinking about Marsh Cave there for just a second, maybe.
This is an interesting encounter table. There is definitely a gap. It's not after the first encounter. I haven't quite picked up where it is yet, but we've seen both runners use that gap. So he might have lost where he was at the encounter table, is what I'm saying.
That makes sense. That makes sense too.
And to respond to chat, yes, DD willingly brought a black belt.
Unconventional? Would we?
It's unconventional, but there's no reason to run convention if it's always failing you.
That's true.
He could just damn the black belt and then run the 3-party, and then it doesn't really matter what you brought. The other thing is the black belt is really not dependent on an endgame weapon, so, you know, you get the level 21 black belt, all you found is, say, an ice sword, the black belt might be better.
Yeah, it just might be, and we've seen those seeds. We've seen multiple games, actually, with, you know, trying to go to with the ice sword to the end. SolarysDrix is
you can always take the black belt to 32 and just clear out everything.
Black belt can be a damage machine, no question. So it looks like SolarysDrix is picking up some weapons here. I saw a short sword and such. And DD Gaming's looks like a potential grind for money. Definitely some levels for both on each side here.
Yeah, now, I mentioned before there's multiple zones here at Crescent Lake. The river is kind of the dividing line. So when you're to the north of the river, you're in one encounter zone. If you go south of it, you're in a different encounter zone. So you might see entirely different encounters based on which area you are on outside of Crescent Lake.
Yeah, you could have giants in the first encounter right here where you see where DD Gaming's is running, just to the left or the west and south of Crescent Lake. And if you cross that river and that little lake around Crescent Lake, it's a different encounter zone. You might have those peeds that you're looking for over there as the first encounter. So definitely a lot of different options to try to look at, depending on if you're looking for experience, the peeds, obviously. If you're looking for money, giants being the good encounter.
Yeah, now DD just walked through 3 encounter zones, to put this in context. That one walk before this 2 giant fight was across 3 different encounter zones. The thing about going for peeds, though, is there's money in it, but they're much better for experience than they are money.
Right, yeah.
The thing that it can really do for you, though, is set you up to go to the volcano safely. And I think that's the only reason that they haven't gone yet, is they don't feel like it's safe at the levels they're at.
In my recent match with Ikben Maya, that's what I ended up doing, was this exact scenario right here, because I knew I had to go to the ice cave and I knew I had to get there fast, and I grinded until level 10 right around this area. What level do you feel most comfortable with, or I guess you could say least comfortable with, if you were going to go to the volcano in this situation, Trey?
Kinda has a lot to do with the magic. If you want durability, double digits is great. With the level 3 fade, I keep harping on it because it's really the difference maker. It's kind of the Minochi strats. It's how do I nuke everything that's in my way? So if I've got 3 spells to clear out anything I'm going to clear out, that's not going to go very far. Having 6 spell charges that will potentially one-shot everything in my path, that's a much different story. So
level 10
the sooner you feel comfortable in your spell charges, you should go for it.
Yeah, I think Minochi, I think he tends to do it a little bit differently. It's how many enemies can I mow down with 1 nuke charge / ratio of how many cookies can I eat during that encounter. I think he's got a ratio number in there as well. So.
That said, if you're doing the grind, you may as well use up your magic charges.
Mm-hmm. No, SolarysDrix has 2 Fade charges at this point. Level 10 for DD Gaming's right now, too.
Yeah, right now, neither one of them was really giving up any time to the other. Question in chat, do you grind for Floater or go to Volcano? I actually want to go to Volcano in the hopes of getting the money. You know, I get a $20,000 gold chest there, 32,000, 60,000, and I'm good to go to get that floater. That's what my hope is.
Pick up a katana, perhaps, that you can sell. Maybe a heal staff, a heal helmet that doesn't interest you, that you can sell for big money. Heal potion stock up for SolarysDrix. That tells me he's also thinking Volcano at this point.
It makes sense. You're going to do a lava walk. That's the other thing about doing first floor Volcano. You're going to walk through a lot of lava, so even when the encounter table is not fantastic, you're going to cover a lot of ground without encounters.
One thing that neither player did here was the Scorpions have cremate.
Yeah, that's unpleasant.
Yeah, that's not the nicest thing on the planet. One thing that did not happen here is that when both players were in the northern area at Provoca, neither of them decided to go ahead and take the time to walk back west and check out the Matoya's Cave. There are 3 chests there. DD Gaming's at this point has the crystal. He certainly could have turned that crystal in also at this point and potentially gone on that hike for that crown quest. Looks like that he's decided instead to go ahead and take the levels as he moves up to level 12 at this point. But those 3 chests in Matoya's also could have had something, but neither player elected to go that way.
That is an interesting point to make. If you had cleared Astos, well, I think DD did and Solaris didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Did DD go to Provoca? And I missed that? I don't remember him going to Provoca. It's not something I keep in my notes normally.
Yes. Okay, let's see.
But I don't have him as beating pirates yet.
He never went that way. Oh, of course, yes. SolarysDrix has the bottle, and DD Gaming's does not, so...
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So it would have made sense on DD's side, because you're going to walk back to the elves anyways when you're going back to the floater. But having not gone to Provoca yet, then obviously he wouldn't go all the way to Matoya yet.
Right. Makes much more sense, right?
And you can basically inverse that logic on Solaris' side. But I do think Solaris, on the walk to get the floater, should stop in and take care of Astos real fast. Because why wouldn't you? Chad did make an interesting point. Maybe they're going ahead and grinding to get levels to one-shot Volcano instead of coming back later. The only thing I'll say about that is I really would want the Peds instead of Giants if I'm going this high in levels. It would have been much more efficient. Now, they may not know all of the encounter zones because it's something I didn't know until fairly recently. So they may not realize that they've only checked, I think, 2 areas in which to see the encounter table instead of all 3.
DD Gaming's continues to hang around outside the Provoca area. SolarysDrix has made their decision. Have headed to the Volcano. Looks like a fairly standard move here. Armory area and the first couple chests on the right side.
Yeah, also with exit, you only have to cover half the ground. Because exit's just going to get you out of here when you're done.
Unrunnable trolls so far. Unrunnable giants and iguanas. Not encounters that you see too often, or that we're going to see later and deep into the game. So nothing too much to make a big note of so far.
Taking the perilous slightly. That could be perilous.
Sometimes you got to watch out for those enemies, Triton. Sometimes those particular ones will run amok of you.
So just a little interesting aside, because Solaris actually went to the Sages when they got here in the first place. They picked up the cube at 8 minutes. It was 24 minutes for DD to get it because of doing that grind first.
DD Gaming is headed back west now. Level 4 magic, perhaps?
Wouldn't imagine so. I mean, the Fade and Ice 3 should be fine, unless maybe DD didn't get Ice 3.
I didn't get a chance to see a gold total on DD Gaming's, but I didn't think DD was at the mark that would be needed.
Defense sword. It's class change locked, but it's still a good utility item.
Very good. It's on the tracker. It's an endgame optional weapon. Cast Roost in battle. I like it.
Opal Shield, good for class change. 10,000 gold. See, that's half the battle to get the floater. That's why I wanted to come here early.
There are multiple Opal Shields that you can find in the game. An option to sell that. Similar to how we were talking earlier, Trenton, about maybe you pick up a katana. Something like that is going to be of absolute no value to you because you're not going to have a thief or a ninja in your party to go ahead and sell off.
Yeah, I can see several runners selling that Opal Shield. Black shirt's nice. But
there's the AoE casting item we were talking about as well.
As far as the Absorb goes, I think it's equal between Aegis and Opal. And it's a difference of resistances between the two. So you basically have 3 chances to get the best Absorb shield in the game for a night. So selling one of them, if it meant getting you the floater and progressing the rest of the seed, there's a lot to be said for that. DD does not kill Astos. Oh, already did.
Yep.
And it looks like DD does have enough money for the floater, so that's the play.
Enough money for the floater and level 13. So DD Gaming's closing in on Canaria now. SolarysDrix is going to continue working on the Volcano.
And it does kind of become an interesting question. Is Solaris going to finish the Volcano or just take what now should be enough money and go back for floater?
Looks like SolarysDrix is going back in. I know that SolarysDrix only had 1 house and he just used it. So he's got 4 fade charges, multiple exit charges, and he's diving deeper. So let's see what he wants to do.
It's not a lot of fade charges if you're checking treasure. If you're just going to carry, I think it's enough.
Yep. Black shirt as a good a support. Ice 2 weapon.
It's Ice 2. It'll do a lot of damage. Was that actually just short?
300.
Oh, gosh.
DD Gaming goes back to buy the floater.
Folks, it matters. Now you got to kill imps for 300 gold.
Is there anything sellable? Because I tell you what, you ain't selling that ribbon.
Sell your weapon. Honestly, sell the weapon.
Yeah.
Whatever you got. Sell weapons, sell armor, it's worth it. Although that is half the gold you need.
Rent off the cube. I will sign your cube, and that will... Oh wait, that'll devalue it. I won't sign your cube, DD Gaming.
Okay, this should be enough, I think, after these imps.
SolarysDrix taking on an Agama. Looks like Agama has the Stare skill. And SolarysDrix is using the option of the black shirt at this point. Except Stone Poison from the Agama petrifies 2 light warriors of SolarysDrix now. Level 11.
Rip the run. Well, no, he's got 1 soft. Save it. No! Too soon. Go straight to carry, then unstone right before carry.
SolarysDrix attempts.
Or I should say that's how I would play it, but there's a couple things. One is you're running the risk of them casting stone again, because Agamas can be a random encounter. You don't have to take the Agama room.
They can definitely pop up again, especially on that carry floor. Meanwhile, Wizard Ogres really stuck it to SolarysDrix after that right now. He's on the ropes a little bit, Trenton, but he's gonna continue to check chests. 32,000 gold. Ooh.
We'll have no trouble buying the floater after this. The other thing that leaving the party member stone for Opal Bracelet is nice is they're not going to take damage from the random encounters. So I definitely would have left the white mage as a statue till we got to Gary, and then just unleash the fades there. But that's me. And Solaris is doing better at this than I am. So, take that for what it's worth. Rune Sword is a nice pickup. It's less than the Silver Sword, but they don't have the Silver Sword right now.
Nope. One of the best weapons if you have a Thief in your group in the early game, the Thief can equip, along with the Dragon Sword and the Coral Sword, I want to say?
Yeah, I think they're all roughly even. It's not a case where I memorize the stats on each weapon, I just know roughly where they fall in the hierarchy so that I know in a pinch what I need. So I know I would rather have Silver Sword than those. Then I know I want to upgrade with the Elemental Swords. And then I worry about those in-game swords, Warple, Defense, Sun, Excal.
The legendary Excalibur?
Oh, took the Agama fight!
Oh boy.
Nuke it! Okay.
SolarysDrix, out of habit?
For a wooden staff.
Out of habit, Trenton, do you think, maybe? I've done that. Oh, this ain't out of habit, though.
I understand not wanting to come back for a chest, but I think you could have safely skipped these.
SolarysDrix in the Volcano on the carry floor now.
This means two more.
Two more Agama fights. He gets away first. Playing with fire here in the Volcano, potentially. No soft potions left. Agama has stone poison as their skill, and they like it.
And you got a wooden staff and a cabin from it. You can't let results evaluate your decision just based on the results. But that was a high risk,
risky play.
Pretty low reward play for just 2 treasures.
Borderline dangerous, I would certainly think.
3
Meanwhile,
Agamas, 3 chances that they go first with that stone touch. Stone. Whatever I'm trying to say.
Future Sight 23 asking in chat, aren't you always playing with fire in the Volcano? Perhaps.
Makes a good point.
SolarysDrix initiates the carry fight. DG Gaming has moved all the way to the Ryukon Desert. Going to use the floater. He's going to pick up his airship.
This might actually have been a good situation to have the Black Mage cast Confuse in, because if it had gone off, then perhaps Carry wouldn't have just wiped your damage dealer for this fight. So this looks bad.
Ink skill from Carry now. Carry is susceptible to status attacks. Confuse is a status attack. SolarysDrix uses the Confuse spell and confuses Carry now.
Also kind of unfortunate, Solaris did go to Provoca earlier, and we just saw Didi pick up the Quad X. That would have been nice here because it might have worked right off the bat.
Carry is
within
attacking.
the range.
Yeah, 300 hit points. Anything under 300 hit points will take Carry out. Using the Black Shirt. Carry attacks Carry again for 5 damage, Trenton.
This is fantastic, and you want to see it, well, just cured, but you want to see Carry as confused as possible here.
Carry absolutely blasts the Black Mage of SolarysDrix. He's down to his fighter now.
Here's what's really unfortunate about this to me. There's some really good treasure here. There's stuff you're going to want to come back for. But do you remember where it all is?
34 hit points now on the fighter.
And there's where to run. Do you have the money? Check your money, Solaris. Check it first. Don't go away.
SolarysDrix was able to raid a little bit, go out and use a house, but there was a lot of time lost there, and there was a lot of money lost there. Meanwhile, DD Gaming was able to get to Provoca, took out the pirates, did his shopping, now he's flown over to Elfland.
That flashed by too fast for me to see, but chat, if any of you saw the gold total, please let me know. He's going Ice Cave.
Level 4 White Magic, Cure 4 in the 4th slot. That'll be available to the Red Wizard, but I don't believe DD Gaming has a Red Wizard. The first slot was a good spell. It was Wall.
Question in chat, was it a bridge seat? It was not. We got the canoe right away, but we have the floater for sale in Corneria for 25k.
SolarysDrix is headed to the Ice Cave. Trenton, I have a question for you. Is it possible that SolarysDrix missed the floater being the vendor item for sale in Canaria?
You know, I think that is a very valid concern. Well, no, because he would have had to have picked up save items. I'm pretty sure he picked up save items.
I know I've done this before. I just missed it. Because all I'm looking for is a cheap tent, you know?
In the shop, but you just didn't see it.
Right.
It does happen. You play so many of these seeds, you forget where things were in any particular one. That's why I say don't do a practice seed on your race day.
You just beat me to it. Me and Trenton had a conversation. It was about 10 days ago, and I was preparing for a very big match that I had at the time. And that was one thing that Trenton told me, and I took that advice. And I'm very glad that I did take that advice, as I don't do that anymore. It's a tradition now. On race day, don't play a game. Don't do it, because you think you already got the cube, and you don't have it.
I don't want to claim false credit. That was somebody else.
It was
I think you've attributed multiple people credit on that one.
No, it was you. You were also Trenton GL here. Fine gentleman. I've learned a lot from him. He told me to, if you have a plan, stick to it. You told me that. I had a plan in a certain match, and I stuck to it. So I certainly thank you for that.
My biggest thing on plans is just to make sure whatever you plan, it has a chance to work. So if Solaris indeed does not know where the floater is, coming to Ice Cave at least gives you the potential to find it.
DD Gaming has raided the Cardia Islands. I definitely saw a Pro Cape in there. Now headed back south toward the Titan's Troll for chests, and I would certainly think Sardis Cave after that for an incentivized item. Perhaps the tail, perhaps the loot, maybe the rod. He's been known to have that before. There's a
Perhaps
slab
these rates are pure death, and this is going to go badly.
Oh boy.
Bane Sword. That's worth the trip.
I'm a fan, Trenton. I like my Bane. Meanwhile, SolarysDrix in the Ice Cave gets ambushed by a pack of undead, 7 undead, putting SolarysDrix to sleep and attacking him now.
Did DD just go past without going to Sarda?
Yes. I believe so.
Okay.
Heal 3 available, White Magic, level 5. Roos available as well. Level 5 Black Magic in Melmond. Fast and Warp. Here in the Swiss tournament, the flag setup very good to have fast. You'd probably rather have it in maybe slots 1 through 4, but at least you certainly get it in 5 at this point, because you want to have those fast charges later on in the game.
I can deal with fast at level 5. That's gonna have enough. I should have at least 3 charges for Temple of Fiends Revisited. There's the tail. DD
Gaming's returns to Sarda's Cave, picks up the tail. At some point, I would... Well, now DD Gaming has the black belt, is that correct?
Yes, so it's an interesting contrast in what you're going to value. Why don't you go ahead and, since you started the thought, and you go ahead and take through what we're talking about.
Sure. The black belt, before class changing into a master, as DD Gaming has decided to go ahead and work on the Crown Quest now, heads off to Matoya, turns in the crystal, get the herb. Now he'll head off to Elfland Castle, as SolarysDrix is fighting another pack of undead who are really giving it to him. 2 light warriors down, 3 light warriors down. He's down to 5 HP on the black mage. Down goes SolarysDrix. He's going to go ahead and reset, and it looks like he's going in for round, we'll call it 3. I'm not sure. But going back to what we were talking about, the black belt before class change, before he becomes a master, gains 3 or I believe it's 4 what's called magic defense points each level that the black belt moves up. once you promote that black belt into a master via the tail, that goes down significantly. I believe it's 1 point. So you almost put yourself into a dilemma, whether or not to promote, whether or not you bring a black belt originally in the beginning of the game. Given that DD Gaming did take the black belt in the beginning of the game, I would certainly think that DD Gaming has a plan here. And it looks like he may be putting off the class change. That's what most players seem to do. Level... Gosh, there's so much debate about it. Maybe around level 20 or so, you could potentially go ahead and then promote the black belt into a master, because you've gained a lot of magic defense points up until that point. Speaking of magic defense points, Blaze from Mummies now in the Ice Cave. It'd be good to have a lot of magic defense points against those guys.
Yeah, and Ice 2 from the shirt, not the best spell to be trying to get past Mummies with. Unfortunately, Solaris is just not well set up for this.
Blaze again from the Mummies. Down goes 2 Light Warriors.
Yeah, that's where the script shuffle can really do a number on you, is when a skill was designed to only be cast by one person at a time, or maybe a maximum of 4 people having it, and instead you get it from a group of 6. It poses an interesting difference.
We also when enemy ambush rate, enemy surprise bonus frequency is shuffled, and they start ambushing you, and Mummies have Blaze like this in a pack, look out. Big trouble.
Yeah, Solaris, I think it might be time to find a different direction to go in.
Round 5 for SolarysDrix versus the Ice Cave. Meanwhile, DD Gaming's continuing the Crown Quest. And I would say Trenton starting to take a lead now over an advantage and extending that lead just a little bit at this point in time as SolarysDrix continues to struggle in the Ice Cave.
I think the lead in this game is defined by getting the floater. And that was something that obviously DD did, and I forgot to write down what time that happened at. But let's see.
Time?
It had to be between 24 and 38 minutes, so I'll call it 28.
28, that works. Is that math? Mathematics?
No.
Good.
Because you don't do math while live on Twitch.
We don't do that. I learned that from you too, Trenton.
It will always betray you. So now we might see DD go to the Ice Cave, and this could be a much different trip with better equipment. I don't know if the levels are particularly better.
Yeah, I would agree.
Spell list certainly is.
The Bane Sword isn't going to do a lot in here. Silver Sword and a Flame Sword as far as melee attacks. SolarysDrix getting through now. I think he found that run in the encounter table, but he gets ambushed again by a whole pack of undead.
Yeah, these undead can really do a number on you. They can just be nasty in their attacks. They come in packs all the time. You know, here's a 5-pack of Wraiths. Now imagine if all they have is, let's say heat, but it does 40 damage each. Well, you get 5 of them casting that. That's 200 damage.
DD Gaming's finding out the nightmares that are of SolarysDrix's experience here in the Ice Cave. Ambushing out of... What is this, the Marsh Cave, Trenton? Ice Cave is the new Marsh Cave?
But that was the spiked tiles. Solaris got to the vanilla floater room and gonna try his luck against the dragons, but you know what? This has been such a rough place so far, maybe the dragons will be a break.
Yeah, how often do you want to go into the Ice Cave and potentially look for the wizard encounter? And nothing else. I mean, how often does that happen? Oh.
Well, so much for the hope of easy frost dragons.
Oh. 2 light warriors down for SolarysDrix now, including the white mage. He picks up a dragon sword and 1,000 gold for his effort.
This is one of those places it can actually be a grind of last resort. I know it sounds weird to say that in the Ice Cave, and I'm not talking about the Eye, but that is a spot where you're otherwise encounter-free. You're only going to take the fight against the Frost Dragons, so if it happens to be a seed where they roll paper, you can get like level 16 out of them pretty easily.
SolarysDrix is through the Frost Dragon area, gets ambushed by Wraiths again. Right behind him is DD Gaming's. I didn't see SolarysDrix check any of these top 2 chests. DD Gaming's does check the Maid's chest, gets 15,000 gold for his effort.
No, I think Solaris was mostly interested in covering new ground. I wouldn't even fault skipping the treasures over here, or even just checking the bottom 3.
DD Gaming's dropped down the hole. Did not use warp because he didn't have any charges.
Ooh, that's big. Power Gauntlet.
Maybe a turn of the tide a little bit for SolarysDrix. We'll see if DD Gaming's heads that way and finds that Power Gauntlet, but that's a very, very valuable item.
But you gotta get out of it. I really wouldn't take the Frostwolf encounter. Just go for the Eye.
I've been known to skip this on occasion as well. I wouldn't have liked to skip this. It looks like they got Spells Threatened Slow 2 they're opening with.
It's not ideal, but also it's not hurting you. And right now, not hurting you sounds really good.
Yeah, we'll take 2.
Fade's gonna take care of business, so
yeah,
we're alright here.
It's always what's behind that first spell that scares me, but if you have a Fade shot going off, you feel fairly confident you're gonna be able to mow them all down.
Frost Giants, they can be rough, and just one-shotting your white mage, not good.
2 light warriors down for SolarysDrix now. He's down to the fighter and the red mage.
Does he have exit on the red mage? If he has exit on the red mage, there's still a chance. In fact, right now, move the red mage to the last position. Get the empty spots in between. It'll lower the targeting rate.
Ruby has been found by SolarysDrix now. We know that that's inconsequential, given the floater was the vendor item for sale in Canaria.
But if he does not know that that's the item, then that could feel like a big fine.
Potential false hope, potential false information. Meanwhile, DD Gaming's runs into 3 mages. Mages have cremate now. They're starting to do some damage into DD Gaming's.
Oh man. Blaze could be bad here.
Uh-oh. Mummies are using fast. That's their spell. Their skill is Blaze. They like that too.
It's the wizards.
It's the wizards.
This is
oh,
fantastic.
Piece of cake. Anyone got a croissant?
They only hit for 70.
That's it. Ah, no big deal. It's merely a flesh wound.
Ice 2 doesn't feel good there. Dee got all the good stuff out of this room without taking the Frostwolf encounter. And they're going to just about high-five here, going to the Eye. And you know what? If you find this Eye to be mild, 2 party members...
That's pretty good funneling, Trenton. I like it.
But how many HP does the Eye have?
Oh, what happened to DD Gaming's? Did he exit?
Didn't see it. I think this Eye might be... He didn't get the treasure!
He didn't get the chest. Okay.
Oh, no. Solaris! He was there! He beat the Eye! And then he walked...
And he gets ambushed again by undead.
Well, this is the spike tile. There's nothing he could do about that.
Based upon the reaction of DD Gaming's and the pause, was that an accidental...
Exit boss, maybe?
Or reset? I want to say reset. Chat, help us out here. You think it was a reset? That's what I think it was.
There's 2 possibilities. I was actually looking on Solaris' side to see what the Eye was made of. It could have been an exit boss because of where it is. The other thing it could have been... I talked about this on a race we did last night. In the Randomizer, we've added a new feature that was not in the vanilla game, which is shamelessly borrowed from Zelda 1. In Zelda 1, you're able to do a reset of the game with your second controller by doing up and A. You can now do that in Final Fantasy 1 with the randomizer. That was done so that our console players wouldn't be at such a disadvantage with resetting to work the encounter table. So if you do that up and A on the second controller, it simulates a hard reset. So that could have been what happened depending on how your controller is mapped.
SolarysDrix luck runs out. And runs out of Light Warriors. He got pounded by the undead. Round 6 now for SolarysDrix into the Ice Cave. At least he's got some information at this point. He knows where the Power Gauntlet is.
Yeah, Solaris can get through here much faster this time and avoid a lot of unpleasantness. There's no reason to take on the Frost Dragons this time. There's no reason to take on the Frostwolf encounter this time. That also means you're taking a bunch of steps off the board as well that you're not going to have to fight. So you can get through this potentially now. He was in a rough spot before, but now if he can get back through this encounter, basically, I think there's a chance. But just so unfortunate. He was in a good spot. He could have gotten that chest from the eye, and I would have even liked the play for just getting the two people the experience.
Yeah,
now, it'd be a little unfortunate to lose the spell levels with the knight, but with how rough the seat has treated you.
Yeah, at this point in time, around 6 in the Ice Cave, get a plan and stick to it. As much of a fan as I am of that, you gotta adapt. You gotta deal with what you've been given, play the cards that it is that you were dealt, and at that point in time, it might be time to make an adjustment.
Okay, so it looks like Didi he reset out of an encounter, so that was probably an unintentional reset.
Didi has made his way to the eye area. Well, he took out the eye fairly quickly. He's going to take another fight. It is the slab located in the Ice Cave. He's using Fade on it. The eye has maybe around 150 hit points. That's fairly weak.
Yeah, saw on Solaris' side that it wasn't that bad, which is why I'd have been okay with the play to level up there. Get away from this Frost Dragon as fast as you can. They hit entirely too hard.
SolarysDrix picks up the Katana. He's going to also pick up the Pro Cape and the Power Gauntlet.
Yeah, now you skip the Frostwolf fight that doesn't have anything to offer you anyways. And Solaris should be in much better shape.
Gets ambushed again here in the Ice Cave. Mages with Cremate, they got DD Gaming's earlier.
You just can't leave your hit points that low here. Oh.
Completely decimated. Mages have the crack skill. 3 cracks in a row isn't enough to take down SolarysDrix, but it sure has put a big, huge problem into his game here again in the Ice Cave.
I feel for him. I've been there. But meanwhile, Didi, with that one hiccup of the reset, just seemed to be on cruise control, getting through everything ever since picking up that floater. Still hasn't class changed, though.
It's got the black belt. Looks like DD Gaming is going to go ahead and put that off for a while, given that they have the DD has the black belt. And it's certainly been upright for a while. It's got a lot of hit points, so it looks like that might be the plan.
Now, if you're familiar enough with the spell table to know that you're not getting Life or Life 2 charges, which I actually don't know about the Life 2 charge. But if you're not going to get those on the night, then okay, the value of those spell slots go down a lot. And Solaris is now getting out of the Ice Cave, and what I don't like about that is how much time was invested to end up with nothing.
That's what I was going to ask. I was trying to think of an estimate. 20 minutes? Maybe probably. 18? Yeah, and we're nearing the 54-minute mark now. We're talking, nearly 40% of your game, and you gave it a go. You got the information as much as you possibly could get out of there. Plan B. Time for Plan B.
Yeah, I mean, between Ice Cave and Volcano, and not much to speak of other than the first floor of Volcano, we're approaching 30 minutes, approximately, since DD was able to pick up the floater.
Floater is the vendor item to review. We are nearing the hour. It is available in Canaria. It's 25,000 gold. Based upon the routing and the choices that SolarysDrix has made, we speculate that SolarysDrix may not have noticed that, or may have potentially forgotten that at this point in time. We're not exactly sure, but it leads more credence to that potential idea with SolarysDrix headed into the volcano now.
Yeah, this was a case where there was no way you were going to get enough gold around Corneria. It was 25,000 gold. The money just wasn't there to be had. You're not grinding imps 150 gold at a time to get that much to buy the floater. You had to go somewhere else to be able to get enough money. That's what DD did. DD got down here. It was a grind on the overworld around Crescent Lake that funded it. Got there, was about 300 short, and had to kill a couple imp encounters to get over the hump.
Yeah. ETAP actually pointed out in chat that DD Gaming's picked up the airship right around the 29-minute mark. When DD Gaming's picked up the airship, SolarysDrix, I believe, was on his way to the ice cave. And SolarysDrix has now essentially just left the ice cave a few minutes ago at the, let's say, 54-minute mark. And unfortunately has nothing to show for it. So DD Gaming's took the lead at that point in time and has continued to extend the lead over that period of time.
Now, when you're in that situation, nothing feels good. Nothing at all. But the one thing that I would like to do in this scenario, if I find myself there, is force a grind somewhere and just get crazy levels. Really, all I can do at this point is try and be overpowered. And Solaris, to my opinion, I think it's more about spell charges than anything. There's more spells to be had than Solaris has, but it means going back to Elfland and it means having enough money to buy them.
Mm-hmm. See, Exit is right there on level 1. I didn't see that on SolarysDrix. I know perhaps I was looking at the black magic though. I can't imagine SolarysDrix didn't pick up Exit. So
now Solaris also, coming back to the volcano, should know not to mess with the Agamas.
Yeah. SolarysDrix takes the Agama fight again. SolarysDrix has already been to carry, already wiped to carry once, and voluntarily takes a second Agama fight. Agamas have stone poison.
He did not remember what the treasure was. Just did not remember. Nothing was worth it. It's not worth it to go for the red dragon either. Please don't do it. Maybe there was another item he remembers being here, but he didn't remember where it was. Or maybe thinks he didn't check that one last time. I mean, when you're talking 30 minutes later, it's easy to not remember what you did.
Yeah, sometimes I'll check a chest, perhaps the fire-guarded 2 chests here in the Volcano B2 floor, the second floor, and I'll get something that's good, and I'll have to menu and go ahead and equip it, say a silver shield perhaps earlier in the game. And then after I get done menuing, I forget whether or not I checked the chest or not, which I just equipped the armor, and I'll check it again.
Question in chat, where was the floater? It is for sale in Corneria. And we're coming up on the hour mark. Let's see how this carry fight goes, as unfortunately the damage dealer is down again. Did he not open with Confuse?
No.
I missed it if he did.
Carry with the ink skill gives SolarysDrix a free round here. 2 hits, 2 damage from the red mage.
But I don't think DD's going to have any trouble at all with this dungeon.
Down goes the black mage. 2 light warriors left for SolarysDrix. It is the fighter and it is the red mage. He's whacking away. 2 hits, 2 damage, but that's the 3rd defense sword cast now for the fighter. He's got max evasion.
Yeah, that's going to mean carry is not going to do melee damage, but that also doesn't mean that you can kill carry particularly. And crits will still get through.
Speaking of crits, 313 damage takes out the red mage. One-on-one, carry versus the fighter of SolarysDrix.
Hold A and hope, but 40 damage crits doesn't feel good, man. Just hold A and hope you get an RNG loop. That's all you can really do right now.
2 hits, 2 damage from SolarysDrix. Now carry continues to miss with melee attacks. But oh my!
Reset out. I can't argue with that, but what I'd really love to see here is hit the fires right here. Don't walk past it. That is the easiest grind location you can get to in the game. We didn't see anything really nasty about the fires. There's nothing great about them. Their experience isn't great, but get 2 levels here. I just... Everything changes with a couple levels.
SolarysDrix once again opts not to heal and not heal again after an encounter. Okay, there's the menu and the healing from SolarysDrix now.
He just wasn't doing the damage. There was a rune sword available, which would have been an upgrade. I believe he was on a short sword.
I believe so as well.
But still, it's just his damage needs to come from that white mage hitting Fade. So
White mage, Fade, and the backup of Confused from the black mage as well. It's got to hit. Status attack.
Yeah, so if he could just get the white mage a little more durable, it would help him. Ice 3 is not going to do the job there. It's almost a waste of time against Gary.
DD Gaming's taking on an Agama now. About to take on another Agama.
I don't think DD has seen what they have yet. Still doesn't. He sees Stare, but that's not the scary thing.
He'll have another Agama fight coming up. Right here. He's taking it.
Yeah, that's a case of just not knowing how bad they are. But also you can see that the black belt is starting to show some foreshadowing, I guess, of what the black belt can do. Level 16 is a good level.
Opal bracelet pickup for SolarysDrix. Went back and picked that up. DD Gaming's is on the red dragon. Fires off a Fade for 100. Round 2 now with the red dragon. Decides to run away and picks up his cabin.
So, real quick, since we are an hour in, let's just run through this. First of all, both the runners started at a pretty even pace, getting Garland down and getting the king and princess items at about 4-minute mark, which was pretty impressive for only having Confuse. I mean, they had nothing but Confuse and some really rinky-dink weapons to do that in. Everything really started to change after that. Solaris went all the way up to Provoca and took on the pirates at the 12-minute mark. Was successful at doing that, but ever since then it's just been a struggle to accomplish things. DD did a grind outside of Crescent Lake that took to about the 24-minute mark. From there, had enough gold to walk all the way back to Corneria, buy the floater after a couple of fights just to get 300 more gold real fast. And then the progress just starts clicking off. He gets the floater around the 27-minute mark. He finishes off the pirates about 33 minutes. He gets Sarda's item at 38 minutes. He's got the slab out of the ice cave at 51 minutes. About to light the first orb here against Carrie at about the 1 hour mark. And I don't have any timestamp written down for Solaris since the 8-minute mark right now. That's just been that rough. Now, mind you, I don't write down the floater, which Solaris did fine, but also doesn't have in their inventory right now. There we go, the round 1 Confuse and Fade. That is exactly what Solaris needed to see.
There you go. Carry attacks Carry again for 6 damage.
That also means you're getting another Fade off at least.
Carry has Blizzard for a skill. I don't know if we've seen that yet. Yeah, that's what's been
wrecking the white mage every other time, so it feels really good to get the Confuse off. And he's going to get a 3rd Fade off. That is absolutely what Solaris needed here.
226, not enough to take Carry down.
Well, that also means the Quad X strats wouldn't have worked.
Carrie attacks
Give it
herself.
another round. The Confuse has been fantastic here.
One more Ice 3 shot left for SolarysDrix. 54 from the fighter. Here's the Ice 3.
Got
59.
it!
Carrie goes down.
Way to go!
A couple more steps. The orb is lit. SolarysDrix is out of the volcano. 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 30 seconds. We have our first orb lit. It is SolarysDrix. DD Gaming's right behind. Takes out Carrie. Lights his fire orb. So we're at 1 hour apiece. At 1 hour, we'll call it 1 hour, 5 minutes in.
I round down. It was 104.
You're around down? Okay. Just trying to stay away from math as much as I can, Trin.
Well, I truncate. That's not math.
Truncate. I like it. SolarysDrix headed back down, paddling along toward Crescent Lake. DD Gaming's flying in the airship, heads back to Elfland, doing a little bit more shopping. I would assume level 4 black and white magic. Temper available, level 4 black magic. Fast was available, I believe it was level 3. Cure 4 for the white mage now. SolarysDrix had, from what I counted, 6 dives into the ice cave and lost a lot of time. And didn't get much out of it. Obviously didn't get any levels, didn't get any equipment. All SolarysDrix got was a little bit of knowledge of where the power gauntlet was. Meanwhile, SolarysDrix fills up on heal potions. Was that Death Touch? SolarysDrix runs into a single encounter with a Hydra and downwind his fighter. Very, very fast. We think that might have been Death Touch at this point. SolarysDrix goes ahead and revives the fighter and moves on. Meanwhile, DD Gaming's, after doing his shopping, is headed to Castle Ordeals and its incentivized item. SolarysDrix picks up another Hydra fight. Hydra hits him pretty hard, but I didn't see any Death Touch there. So it was a glare. Okay, so Hydras have glare at this point. Thank you, chat. These enemies have it out for SolarysDrix, apparently. We can't quite confirm this right now, but with SolarysDrix going back to the ice cave, we can only assume at this point in time that SolarysDrix does not know the floater is the vendor item back all the way in Canaria. Meanwhile, DD Gaming's continues on. Shuffled Pillar Maze here now in Castle Ordeals. Taking advantage of one of the 2 warp charges that he has to go ahead and go back. He makes quick work of the Pillar Maze. He's on the final floor of Castle Ordeals now. Mummies and Cocktresses battling SolarysDrix. Mummies have Blaze. Another thing that SolarysDrix has opted not to do, and in returning to the Ice Cave, would be the Crown Quest. It's got the crown. Multiple fade shots, has an orblet, took out Carrie, but SolarysDrix has elected to go back to the Ice Cave, Triton.
Well, it's... The only reason I would like it is if you're going to do an eye grind. And I know that sounds a little counter-conventional to everything about the Swiss round, but with how bad this has gone, the only thing that's changing this is 15 levels. That just nothing less than that.
DD Gaming's has made very, very short work of Castle Ordeals, made it look easy, like a professional.
And that was the cube, correct?
The loot was located in Castle Ordeals.
Okay,
just found by DD Gaming's. Mm-hmm.
So we've got Vanilla Cube then. Or no, Sage had the cube.
Yep, Sage had the cube. So that leaves the rod and the tail. Rod.
I have started down for tail, so Robot should have the rod.
Yes. process of elimination, the robot in the waterfall should have our rod. DD Gaming's in the neighborhood, heads toward Gaia. Potentially checking out the armor shop. Bypasses the armor shop and heads toward the ferry.
It still has not done the class change. Which you're sacrificing a little bit. I think he still has the opal shields. That's probably the only thing equipment-wise. Well, and equipping the defense sword.
Pack of undead, giving it to SolarysDrix again. Another ambush in the ice cave. He's been through this. He's a little bit better prepared at this point in time for this. But I don't know how well prepared you really can be for a whole pack of undead that just starts to pound away on you, Trenton. It's tough.
It's a rough encounter. There's several rough encounters here, and it's... I don't want to beat 1 point too much, but you know what? He got through one of the toughest locations. He doesn't have to take those extra encounters because he already knows the Frost Dragon chests aren't worth it.
Knows where the power gauntlet is.
There's also a katana there for good money, and what was the other thing? There's one more. There's one more thing in this room. We're about to see it anyways. Procape. That was the other thing.
Yeah, Procape. DD Gaming's has left Gaia. Is in possession of the Oxyale. Has headed east to go west towards the waterfall, and the robot, which we know by process of elimination has the rod. And while SolarysDrix getting through the ice cave a little bit better now, gets ambushed again by some undead, but closing in on his goal. Certainly the last couple chests, and the potential eye grind, Trenton thinks is an option.
I always try and put myself in the runner's position and say, okay, if everything has gone the same for me to this point, what makes the most sense? And for as awful as this seed has been to me, it's the crazy level grind. That's just, to me, that's what this great seed is screaming to me, is I need levels. I need them. I've got to force the issue.
If anyone has seen the matches, the 3 matches that we happen to have here Saturday night in the Final Fantasy Randomizer 2018 Spring Tournament that were on Saturday night, the Minochi X Ice Blue match, the I think it was Split Punched match, you needed levels. Believe me, you needed levels, because all those games went over 2 hours. One of them almost to 3.
So 111 to pick up the floater. Here's the good news, bad news. Now that Solaris has found that, you know the floater wasn't here. And theoretically that should force you back to where it was. Here's the bad news. It's got the ruby. And TNT, but no ship. So
do you stop off? Well,
what this could end up doing to you, possibly, is sending you to the Marsh Cave.
It could. I would hope, for SolarysDrix's sake, that the Crown Quest, and perhaps that Crown Quest pushes SolarysDrix toward where he needs to go, the town of Canaria, potentially Canaria Castle, and those 6 chests there. Maybe he needs to stop off and potentially seize it. Could get him back on track.
So what this really comes down to is just a little unfortunate situation for Solaris. Solaris had a really rough time in the ice cave, but one time he had the luck. He got to the eye with just his fighter and red mage and won the fight. But then unfortunately walked too far, ran into one of the holes, and he was warped to the other floor with no way to get back. And nothing's gone right since then.
No.
He finally got through Carrie, he finally got through the ice cave, but just took an enormous amount of time, unfortunately. Whereas for DD, getting the floater, everything's just been available ever since. And I really think that boils down to DD's early decision to pick up more spells in Elfland.
Stone poison?
It's the Medusa script.
Medusa script?
So we've seen that from the Agamas, which means seeing it twice means it's on 3 times.
3 petrified light warriors for SolarysDrix. If it was going to happen to anyone, I would certainly think it is SolarysDrix, based upon the way it's been going. We don't think there are any
I don't even
softs.
think DD saw that from the Agamas.
No. Glare. We saw glare. And also the Hydras had glare, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, buy a bunch of tents and just get your way to Corneria.
Yes.
Now he has to go to Corneria. This is actually good news.
This is good news. This is good news.
He's
Things are
got to
looking
go
up.
there to get the soft potions.
DD Gaming's made quick work of Castle Ordeals. DD Gaming's makes quick work of the waterfall. He's got his rod. He's now entered the Sea Shrine area now.
When having your party turn to statues is a good thing, you know you've had a rough scene.
You've had a rough game. DD Gaming's has elected to make a visit, Trenton. Didn't think so.
Oh, unfortunately he had soft potions.
Oh boy.
Well,
He's got life too.
oh, soft was at level 4. Okay, I guess he bought the spell.
And the SolarysDrix picks up his Ice 3, his life 2.
I was all excited there because softs are always going to be for sale at Corneria. So the idea of being statues forcing you to go get soft potions. Yes, I realize he just bought it, but there's also 2 runners going on, and I can be looking at them, I can be looking at notes. I thought I saw the Sun Sword. And I wasn't expecting soft to be for sale.
I think he's doing it, Trenton.
Oh, this is what I was afraid of. So this means he's looking for the ship. He thinks this is a TNT ruby seed.
I would think that this gives us our confirmation, Speed Gaming fans, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. We believe SolarysDrix did not catch that the floater is the vendor item for sale in Canaria. We suspected that might be it, but this would tell me that confirms it, Trenton.
It's the only thing that explains the play. And it explains a lot, because I just didn't understand why he would invest all that time over in the Volcano Ice Cave area if that wasn't the case. That's the only thing that really brings it all together.
Well, there's a potential here. Right now, SolarysDrix is going to a place where DD Gaming's, as he gets ambushed by scorpions, DD Gaming's probably is certainly almost not going to go. Speaking of which, damage poison now from Red Sahags.
Why not? We've seen some of everything in this seed.
Yeah, unrunnable encounter.
So Solaris would need this to really be some major things, like 2 ribbons.
2 ribbons, a dragon armor, Masmone, something along those lines. If this is really rich, SolarysDrix might be able to catch a break here. We'll see what happens. SolarysDrix continues to search Marsh Cave now. After this, I can only suspect a crown quest on foot without a ship if he doesn't find the ship. DD Gaming's is done with the Mermaid's Dive. Moving on toward the Kraken side now, going after his second fiend, the Fiend of the Water. Unrunnable Wizard Sahag, Red Sahag fight for DD Gaming's. We know that the Red Sahags have the slow spell, and damage poison is their first skill, and it really does a big knock on the black belt now for DD Gaming's. Damage poison absolutely wrecking DD Gaming's Light Warrior party. Now 3 Light Warriors down to 114 HP on the White Mage. DD Gaming's able to get a fade off. Takes out all the red Sahegs except the wizard Saheg. What is DD Gaming's going to do? It's going to have to use another fade to take out the wizard Saheg. No, it doesn't work. Not enough. Down to 95 now against the wizard Saheg. DD Gaming's looking for other options. Does not want to use that last fade charge. Realizes he has to. 240 damage takes down this encounter. DD Gaming's assessing his options now. DD Gaming's has life 2. Elects to use life 1 in heal potions. Meanwhile, SolarysDrix continues to scour Marsh Cave. Not going to be able to find what it is that he is looking for. SolarysDrix has now lost 2 white warriors. Gargoyles are hitting him, but not too hard. DD Gaming continues to heal. SolarysDrix takes out the gargoyles now. SolarysDrix searching for the ship here in Marsh Cave. Probably not going to find it. It is not a ship-required seed. Down goes the red mage from the werewolves now. Blizzard from the werewolves. Cremate from the werewolves now. 1-on-1. Werewolves have heat. Bring in the heat! Werewolves attacking SolarysDrix now. He's down to 165, but he's able to get out of the fight. SolarysDrix down to 1 light warrior. Starts to use heal potions and heal up. Dragon armor is found for SolarysDrix now. DD Gaming's with the unrunnable wizard Saheg, red Saheg fight. Doing a lot better than last time. And Ice gets an Ice 3 off and able to take out a lot of the red Sahegs. SolarysDrix hanging on now. Goes into the fight with the wizards. He's going to try to run from the wizards now. Wizard's starting to hit him, about 40 damage until he gets away. Finds 2,000 gold. 700 gold now. Believe SolarysDrix has checked all the chests here in Marsh Cave looking for the ship that he's not going to find. Meanwhile, DD Gaming's makes it through. Most of the Sea Shrine now is on the floor of Kraken, Fiend of the Water. SolarysDrix continues to try to fight here in the Marsh Cave. He just resets, he's out. SolarysDrix has reset out of the Marsh Cave. About the only thing Solaris gave up was the dragon armor. It's a good find. It's an important find, potentially. But SolarysDrix had enough trying to get out of there with 1 light warrior. We would think that SolarysDrix does not turn in the crown. SolarysDrix bypasses turning in the crown at Astos Castle and doing the crown chase. Could be headed in the right direction here. Things could be looking up for SolarysDrix. It looks like he's headed back to Canaria. This is where SolarysDrix needs to go. Fuchsia Fantasy, welcome to chat. Always a pleasure to have you. Rooting for SolarysDrix to please head to Canaria. I think we all are. Stone poison from the wolves. We believe that is on the Medusa script. 2 petrified light warriors for SolarysDrix now. It's been happening most of the game for him. He's able to get out of the fight. Meanwhile, DD Gaming's preparing for the fight against Kraken, looking to light his second orb now. Rearranges his light warrior party. DD going defensive, bringing out the wall spell. Power Gauntlet. Invisibility 2 to try to cloak himself from Kraken's strong melee attacks. Temper from DD Gaming's. 4 hits, 4 damage now. I believe that was from the black belt. SolarysDrix, hallelujah, has gone to Canaria and picked up the floater. Fire 2 from Kraken. Not too much. Small flesh wounded to DD Gaming's. Power Gauntlet, Invisibility Cloaks, and 2 hits for 62 damage from the black belt now. So Kraken definitely has some absorb. Meanwhile, SolarysDrix is headed west on foot after leaving Canaria, having picked up his floater now. Did not turn in the crown. DD Gaming's having a little bit of a tussle here with Kraken 1 at this point. 4 hits, 4 damage, no good. Red Mage is paralyzed. Still has elected not to class change. 239 damage from DD Gaming's now. Here comes the Black Belt again. 4 hits, 4 damage, and a not bad. A small knock from Kraken. 28 damage into the White Mage.
Well, slow will mess up melee strats, so that part doesn't feel good. Neither does my internet connection tonight, but I think we're alright now.
Speaking alright, DD Gaming's is alright. Takes down Kraken 1. Second Orblet. It's the Water Orb for DD Gaming's. SolarysDrix ended up diving the Marsh Cave. Went to the top of Marsh Cave. Didn't find anything, reset. Went to the bottom of Marsh Cave. Did find the Dragon Armor, but was just devastated. Was down to 1 Light Warrior, his fighter. Elected to go ahead and reset. Fortunately, went back to directly to Canaria. Picked up his floater. Now he's going to start the... Looks like a little bit of the Crown Quest, because he's on foot. He's on his way there. He's going to stop off and take out Astos.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to do that and then finish it out with the floater, but this is right on your way. And then the big question is, did DD translate the slab already, or is that something you still need to do?
According to Tyrannex, our wonderful tracker. Tyrannex, thank you for taking care of everything tonight, being part of the team here with Speed Gaming. The tracker says that he did translate the slab, so looks like it. Is that a class change, Trenton?
Well,
it was. Okay.
The options being considered, at least. That's the second time we've maybe seen a reset on accident. I'm wondering if that's just mapping that DD might want to revisit that second controller.
Could be. DD Gaming has elected to go ahead and do the class change. Level 18. It looks like 18 across the board, perhaps. Definitely on the Knight and the now Master is level 18. So that's kind of about where we were talking. I was thinking about 20. So it's close.
Yeah, you've lost a couple of charges of magic for a Knight. Mm-hmm. The biggest question is, did that cost you a life too? Life 2, I think, would have trumped everything for me.
Life 2 is a pretty good spell. I like it.
So we're talking about a time at this point where a lot of runners would already be battling Chaos, if not already finishing that. Now, that's not to say that's how they would do on this seed, because every seed is different. Tail now for Solaris.
Speaking of every seed being different and every game being different, coming up Tuesday, June 26th. That's about 2 days from now. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, a battle of 2-1s. Edgeworth, very well known, excellent player of this game. Heavily favored in his matchup against the 2-1 Will Cleosis. Will Cleosis has an uphill battle for him, Trenton. And a little birdie told me that you might be there for that match.
I am signed up for that match and very much looking forward to it. What I want to know is, how did you get into the admins division here?
I don't know what that means.
Edgeworth, Maya. The admin czar.
Well, you know, Wookleosis was within a hair of taking everyone down and going 3-0. Did not happen. Ikben Maya way too hot right now. Ikben Maya, Dusha Fantasy, probably the two hottest players right now, in my opinion, in the 2018 tournament. Ikben Maya on an absolute streak. We'll see what happens as at 8 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, June 26th. 2 hours after the 2-1 matchup between Edgeworth and Wookleosis, Ikben Maya puts his perfect record on the line against the 3-0 Salty Fry. That's all here. Speed Gaming family of networks. Thank you for hosting us. I can't wait to certainly play and then sit back and watch after my match with Edgeworth.
A question in chat. Let me just actually back up and explain what's going on with the resets. First of all, picture your good old-fashioned NES console. And you got 2 buttons on the front of that console. You have a power button and a reset button. The way that Final Fantasy is designed to work, if you hit the reset button, you keep wherever you are on the encounter table. So if you've gone 2 out of 8 encounters, let's say, you're going to be on the step count for the 3rd encounter. If you do the hard reset, you start back at the beginning, you're on the step count for the 1st encounter. What was done in the randomizer was to neutralize a disadvantage for console players, was to simulate that power on, power off with up A on the 2nd controller. And it is as fast as a normal reset. So it is a much faster process than loading the game up off of a flash card, EverDrive kind of thing. So it really made it a lot more console friendly to race the randomizer. What is an option in the game now is that 2nd controller up A, which is the hardware reset. There is not one for the software reset, because the software reset doesn't take reloading the game off of your EverDrive or whatever the equivalent is for NES. I don't know. But that is the one that was needed for the console players to not have them be at this huge disadvantage when it came to the encounter table. Hopefully I did a reasonable job explaining that. There's Masamune. First floor of the Mirage Tower. You don't need to move that defense sword. That could stay right where it was. Thank you.
SolarysDrix is going through the
nice.
crown
We're starting to get
quest.
some gear here.
Yeah. Pro ring. That's a pretty nice piece of armor, Trenton. I like it.
You know, you can buy them, but it saves you money.
Mm-hmm. Anyone can wear them? Any light warrior?
And Solaris is now starting to get some of this armor that Dee Dee had, which also made a difference for going through those dungeons, by the way. I mean, if you have ice armor, it's pretty good armor, so that made quite a difference for Dee Dee against some of the same encounters. Oh, hey, vampires. Hitting for 200 damage, like it's nothing.
I didn't catch the armor that DD Gaming's has in the night. We have the benefit of the information that DD Gaming's is more than likely not going to see any dragon armor anytime soon. It's buried in the Marsh cave.
Yeah, so then you're hoping for Opal. I think he's got the ice armor on right now. I don't think he's seen any better armor than that. He's got the power gauntlet, and he also had an Opal gauntlet, but I'd have power over that. But Pro Ring would even trump that.
Question from Allie in chat. No, SolarysDrix found the dragon armor, but was devastated by the enemies in the Marsh cave, and went ahead and took a reset and got out of there. Fortunately, the good news is, was able to head off to Canaria to get the floater to make the big step in this game of getting the airship.
Yeah, I think one of the things that has plagued Solaris the whole time is a little bit less on the resources has made everything a little bit harder. And sometimes a little bit harder is all it takes. That flame armor could be very good for DD.
Paired with the ice shield. I know the ice shield is out there.
Yeah. So stacking the elemental armors is a good strategy if you don't have the extra ribbon. There's second Pro Cave.
Two Pro Capes available in the game, both found in treasure chests. It acts as a shield, and is really, essentially, you know, the only shield that a mage can equip. Speaking of shields...
Well, there's the best Aegis shield. you don't have Aegis Shield, Opal's not bad, but definitely prefer Aegis. A Light Axe, I'd pick that up, because you can stick that on Black Belt for an undead encounter.
Undead vampire encounter. If you get a Light Axe earlier in the game as well, very usable in melee by a fighter earlier in the game. Obviously, finding it this late in the game, it's still useful for like perhaps a vampire encounter, but its value drops off somewhat significantly.
Yeah, where it can make a difference is it's not going to clear out these vampires or whiz vampires, but if you're throwing Fate out there from the White Mage and you follow it up with a Light Axe, that way a bad roll probably isn't causing a vampire to survive. You know, just adding 50 damage and targeting all of them instead of targeting one with a punch and then that one dies but another one survives. That's the difference the Light Axe can make. And Solarys looks now to be going to Castle Ordeals.
Yep,
This
SolarysDrix.
was a 108 pickup for DD, so this, when you're kind of comparing where they are, this is about a 27-minute difference. And time for the Bridge of Destiny, chat. Are you rooting for Warmack tonight? I don't see the Warmack fans. You're not representing.
If they don't ask for Warmack, I heard he doesn't show up.
I mean, if he doesn't show up, clearly it's all chat's fault.
Obviously, no question about it. Instead, you get runnable airs. Gilspur.
You know, it's one of those things about the shuffles that we start doing in Randomizer. Sometimes they'll make places easier, sometimes they'll make them harder. When you talk about taking Wormick from a runnable encounter to he could potentially be an unrunnable encounter,
Oh yeah.
it's a different story.
He'll still ambush you too, Trenton. Yeah, sometimes. Any type of unrunnable encounters don't ambush you in Final Fantasy. However, if he is runnable, he still will ambush you. And he's got a pool. Warmick has a pool of spells and skills with Carry 2, Lich 2, Tiamat 2, Kraken 2, and this Ultimate Fiend we know is Chaos. So he can pack a nuke, he can continue to pack his nuclear, he could have a swirl, tornado, he could have ink. You don't know.
Feels a little bad to not have Brack here. I think DD has a Bane Sword, though. As Laris now works to navigate these pillars, so just since we haven't touched on this yet, the pattern through the pillars is actually shuffled. So it will still take you to every room of the pillar shuffle, but you have to figure out between the two, is it up, is it down, is it A, is it B, which of the four it is. You'll have to find your way through. Though if you have Warp, it's quite a bit easier. Tiamat down. 137.
137 from Trenton. What was the term that you used? Round down?
Truncate.
Truncate, thank you. Trenton truncation. Uh-oh. Dinner time for DD Gamings. He lights his third orb, taking out Tiamat, and immediately goes to the dinner table. Takes out a Tyro for 855 experience and level 20.
Just a complete waste of time. Question in chat, is the soft lock fixed? Yes, it is. There used to be an issue if you went through too many pillars. But it wasn't that much of a concern even before the fix. Because if you made enough wrong choices, you probably wanted to reset from the counter table anyways. Now DD picking up spell charges. And there's the loot for Solarys. So now the chart of items is starting to fill in for Solarys, and needs to go clean up the fiend encounters. So That does still mean a dive into Sea Shrine and Sky Castle, which is not easy and non-trivial for time purposes. But you know, you can go mode those and get through them not terribly long.
SolarysDrix has got to feel behind based upon missing the item for so long that was for sale in Canaria, and that being, you know, one of the most important items in the game. Probably the most. Worms have Blaze. We'll add them to the list. For progression, probably the most important progression item to open up the world. As DD Gaming.
Stone.
Oh my.
He's found every possible way to turn to stone.
Oh.
Stone poison on the worm. Okay, so there it is.
And Medusa script.
It was on the Medusa script. We found all three. Solaris found all three. That's just the way this has gone. The other big thing is, if Solaris had been able to get through the dungeons, he would have gotten back to that floater faster. But he lost that time just because he was having such a rough venture through the dungeons.
DD Games winding his way through the Earth Cave.
Now, on the other hand, had he known that's where the floater was, he would have noped out faster, but still, since he didn't have that information, that's what was blocking him from getting back to it faster. And they were non-trivial dungeons. There was a lot of unfortunate, unpleasant stuff on either side.
Lots of ambushing, lots of packs of enemies, mummies with Blaze, yes.
The Wraiths were no fun with their attack, the Agamas turned you to stone, level 7 new.
Speaking of mummies with Blaze,
I think.
Carrie was took down SolarysDrix in a fight earlier on.
Yeah, was taking out the White Mage with Blizzard, and that was in a situation where Solaris was really relying on Faye to get through it. Then Solaris just had a great fight when he got back by using the Confuse on round 1, and then just having good luck with it where Carrie stayed not hitting for a while. And then 4 rounds later, it was GG. DD is go-moding the Earth Cave. Skipped the big treasure room here.
Yeah, we're nearing the 1 hour 42 minute mark now. DD Gaming's go mode, I would certainly think, would be the classification as well. Where would you think you are at this point in time? Would you think you're behind at this point if you were DD?
I think the Swiss flags, anytime it's 1:30, you're wondering. Especially if you're not already in Temple of Fiends. Yeah. To answer a question in chat, Masa was first floor of the Mirage Tower. So I think Solaris will also pick that up.
SolarysDrix enters the waterfall now. The rod is located in here that the robot has. DD initiates the Lich fight. 4th and final fiend to potentially light the 4th orb now. Lich doesn't usually get much respect. I wouldn't think that this is any different. Big swing from the Masmoon and the Knight of DD takes down Lich fairly quickly. Steps over the orb.
160 damage there from the Black Belt. Obviously it didn't touch what Masa did. But how often have we seen people going in with that second damage dealer that could reliably do that much?
You know what, from what I've seen, not often.
Yeah, so that could be something that pushes you, again, over that proverbial hump or over the hill. Can it get you just that little bit more to get you through a fight?
SolarysDrix picks up his rod now from the waterfall. Meanwhile, DD Gaming says entered the Temple of Fiends Revisited via Triton Truncation, We'll call it the 1 hour 43-minute mark.
Yeah, it's just easier that way than figuring out the seconds. Also, they're trivial until they're not.
We've had a lot of non-trivial races go on here. Multiple 3-second finishes, multiple ones within a minute. We've had some really good races here so far in the 2018 Spring Tournament.
Oh, the Phantom fires off crack.
Oh boy.
This is where having only run Ribbon feels bad. I might even reset over that.
I think I would probably too.
Maybe check the validation chest first and then reset.
Blow on the loot. That's something I oftentimes do. Check the validation chest, blow the loot. Go ahead and exit out of there, potentially. Actually, probably not, because he hasn't really taken any fights. Or save and go on again. But DD is... I think he feels behind. Now at the 1 hour 45-minute mark. It's going to continue on.
Yeah, that's possible. This is a situation where if you had perfect knowledge, everything would be different. But you only know what you feel in the moment. And the good thing about going on is maybe you get more information, so if something goes wrong, you know what's important when you come back. Solaris now going into the Sea Shrine.
Picking up the pace a little bit. SolarysDrix probably feeling definitely behind. He's starting to get a move on here. Took care of ordeals, took care of the waterfall. Now entering the Sea Shrine, where he's going to find red Sehags with damage poison.
Oh my, did we miss something before? The Frost Dragons had thunder.
Yep. Okay. I'm out of space here, Trenton. This had that and this had that of all this trouble. We never saw that, I don't think.
No, we did not see that in the ice cave, and they were a nightmare. I don't think they killed Solaris, but did a lot of damage first. Here we go with Lich 2. First to the final boss is 7 damage isn't much.
Damage poison from the red Sehag. SolarysDrix resets. He's on his way back for try number 3 in the Sea Shrine. 4 hits from the Masmo, nearly 200 damage. Takes out Lich 2.
Yeah, not much to that Lich 2, and that's where you hope that the spell list was just stacked with both the nukes, 3 or 4 of the nuclears. You can hope. This now becomes a scary encounter. DD away. 4 AoE stones is not a fun prospect to look at.
A lot of Agamas on this floor, but DD's almost through it and on to carry 2. Gets a couple of worm encounters.
Ribbon will protect you a lot, but you're not immune. Gets away.
Carry 2 fight now for DD. As SolarysDrix battles some hard-hitting monsters in the sea. He gets away.
Sword is...
it's poison smoke!
That's what it's gonna do.
Poison smoke for DD Gaming's on carry 2. Terminates her. DD Gaming's moves on to the water floor as a reward.
So she is not vulnerable to that, is what I was about to say. But when you don't really have a better option for the red mage, you can still take that slim chance because sometimes it'll work. And that's just the way it goes sometimes.
SolarysDrix continues to get decimated, but continues to fight on now. Closing in on Kraken.
The seafood platter not playing nice there.
Speaking of closing in on Kraken, DD is preparing for the fight with Kraken too. He's probably my most feared enemy in the game, Trenton? I would assume he's up there for you?
Typically no, but I show respect. I'm most worried about chaos.
Okay.
Well, what I'm really worried about is something happens that sets me up to lose to chaos.
8 hits for 701 damage. Decimates the master for DD Gaming's now.
That's an okay result. If he's gonna one-shot somebody, you'd rather it. Oh, that's bad.
Rub from Kraken 2 takes out the Knight of DD now. 2 rounds, 2 fatalities. Quad X is no good for DD now. He's gonna try to fight back. Ice 3 and Fade. He's got to take out Kraken 2 pretty quick here, Trenton.
He's got enough damage in there. I would have actually tried Quad X, but it didn't matter because one shot anyways.
Melee attack takes out the Red Wizard. DD still
Hold
fighting
Fade
with
and
Fade.
hope.
Fade again from DD now into Kraken. 96 damage. Kraken toying with DD Games now, firing Lightning 2 at DD. DD not taking it though. Fires another Fade for about 200 damage. Takes out Kraken 2.
So that was just terrible because it was so resource draining. There's no life 2s now, which would have been preferable from this. There's no Fade charges to deal with a high absorb either Tiamat 2 or Chaos, but you live to fight another day.
You live to get ambushed by lobsters and sea trolls as SolarysDrix almost to Kraken 1, also being decimated down to 2 light warriors now. DD's made it onto the air floor, the echo of the floating castle. Time at 2 now. DD's preparing for that fight. Steps away from it.
Look at this, just out of heal potions. 2 left. This feels really bad.
Time at 2, DD Gaming's wall is being used now.
I like the
by
wall
DD.
cast. I don't like being out of invis 2s.
Out of evasion, out of fades. Time it uses his skill right off the bat. It's Inferno.
Yeah, this
Power
might be a
Gauntlet.
case where the White Mage needed to have the Bane Sword for this fight. And it's the evolving strategy instead of the planned one.
Down
never
goes
mind.
the White Wizard. Ooh. Good shot from the Knight, though, into time at 2.
Yeah, throw that Quad X out there. There's a very good chance it's going to work.
DD elects to heal. Time it attacks the Knight for a whole boatload of damage. The Knight's down to 1 knee. 50 HP left now. Cure 3 gets off, though. Except damage poison from Tiamat 2. Puts a big dent in DD Gaming. DD Gaming says, not today, Tiamat 2. And a big slash from the Masmoon and the Knight takes down Tiamat 2.
Alright, don't forget to get your equipment. He forgot to get his equipment. I assume the White Mage has the ribbon and...
Oh no! Back by the rock goals! DD's down to 1. Light Warrior, it is the Knight.
I don't know what to say at this point.
I believe DD picked up life on the Knight. Are there any charges,
Even
though?
so, I think he'd only have 1 cast. But don't forget
Oh
your
boy.
equipment.
He's got his charge.
He's got
Unless
his
he used it.
charge. Does he have the spell?
I'm pretty sure I saw DD get it. He also did not equip the Power Gauntlet at this point in time, but he is moving around the armor, electing to take the Aegis. Okay, Pro Ring.
Yeah, it's a choice between Pro Ring. I'd rather do the Ice Armor, I think. I'm not sure on that one, but I think I'd rather have the Ice Armor. The only other concern to me would be Opal Gauntlet and maybe do better evade.
SolarysDrix has taken out Kraken 1. SolarysDrix has lit the Water Orb, his second orb. Ooh. Defense sword use, Roos in battle here from DD. Chaos is melee attacking all over the place and cannot hit DD.
Got the ribbon on.
Zap from Chaos is ineffective. Now the Power Gauntlet comes out.
There's still some stuff to worry about here. Fast isn't high on the list, because if you're evading, you're evading. You're just worried about crits. 500 damage is a good hit.
DD Gaming's starting to attack Chaos now. 4 hits and 400 damage now.
900. Call it 1200.
Thunder from Chaos. DD Gaming says not today, 145. How about another Mazmoon shot for 368?
That's around 17. We're around 2000 now.
The loop.
22. There's nuclear.
Oh, nuclear!
That's what we're scared of.
Chaos.
And fire
3. Oh!
That was over 2000 HP, so that was over vanilla.
Plan B for DD Gaming's now. A lot of melee from Chaos. Looks like a propensity to attack physically from Chaos. He had a couple things going on there. Nuclear was one of his skills. Fire 3 was down the list. He had a fast in there. Zap was before Fire 3 as well. But Nuclear was the skill that was the problem for DD in this match.
So I go back to actually what I just said about what I was worried about with Kraken is something that sets me up to lose for Chaos. If one other person had survived out of that fight with Kraken, DD would be we'd be saying GG already. Because Chaos could have had up to 3000 HP, that's for sure. But you're probably talking 200 to 300 more damage, and that's at least 50% likely would have won the fight. If he had had fades to go off there, it could have changed the fight.
No question. You counted around 2000 HP at least?
Yeah, I would. If I were rounding, which would involve doing math live on Twitch, which
wow,
I do,
yeah.
but
Estimating.
I think that was around 2100.
SolarysDrix has moved into the Mirage Tower. He's got his chime in his cube, picks up the Mazmoon in the first floor Mirage Tower. Now starting to close the gap a little bit on DD Gaming's. Only 2 orbs lit at this point in time though, but DD Gaming's is getting it now from the Frost Wolf and Frost Giant. I would think this is a potential reset.
But maybe it's early enough, and Fuchsia in chat also makes a good point. DD didn't go restock the heal potions, which after running out of them last time would seem like something you really want to do.
Triton, we talked about it earlier, right around the Phantom there. Didn't DD use a couple of life spells early? And we talked about, or was it just heal potions that he used early? And
we talked about it after the crack came out from the Phantom that on the first dive.
Right.
I would have maybe checked the validation chests and then reset.
I think he continued on there, right? And so that cost him.
That was all
2
the first
spells.
dive.
Right.
So he should be ahead that on this trip, but that's just so early, even if it doesn't feel like it.
Right. Levels 15 and 16 now for SolarysDrix. Nearing the 2-hour mark, trying to close the gap.
That is a pretty soft blue dragon. That would be a good place to grab a couple more levels. You just can't think that Execution's going to get you back into this. I mean,
levels 19
do something
and 20
to give yourself a chance. Alright, meanwhile, DD, back to Lich. Lich didn't show much last time, but you don't know what's buried in that spell list, so you don't want to take it for granted. Kill him quick.
That which DD does. Again, nearing the 2-hour mark now. DD Gaming has taken out Lich 2 and is on the fire floor. Remember, the Agamas are here, and they're a little problematic this game.
Yeah, we're worried about the AoE stone effect. Interesting that we didn't find a second ribbon with as many chests as we have seen.
We even saw Marsh Cave. There was
so mermaids.
Mermaids was
probably
checked.
one, and maybe the other one was here in Topher.
Could it be? Could be buried in Temple of Fiends Revisited. On the carry floor, the original Mazmoon chest.
You just wonder how many times in Randomizer that chest must have had something. I mean, if you say 10 items that you really would have wanted, and I think it's 240 chests approximately in the game, every once in a while, that chest has to have something pretty good.
Nuclear from Carrie. We didn't see this last time.
Oh my, that is a fourth encounter that has Stone Touch poison.
Blaze from the slide!
What is this seed?
SolarysDrix, the beer's on me after the match. Cup of coffee is on Trenton. Whatever it is that you want. DD Gaming is able to get past Carry 2. He's back on the water floor now. So another nuclear is out of the pool. But we've been to Chaos. We know Chaos likes to melee. We know Chaos does have a nuclear. Fire 3, fast, zap. All in the rotation.
Solaris has shuffled the party to take on this fight. You don't often see that against Tiamat 1 because it's not usually that scary. Solaris' little so might actually be a little low for this encounter.
Down goes the red mage in the top slot. SolarysDrix was prepared for that.
Here comes Kraken 2. DD really needs this to go a little bit better in some form or fashion.
Kraken with rub. It does not connect this time.
That's a start because that was an auto kill of it was even the knight last time.
It was the knight, yes. After a melee attack had taken out the master. Let's see what Kraken 2 wants to do this time.
Question in chat, is this a speedrun race? Well, they're certainly trying to go as fast as they can. 700 damage there is huge.
865 and a big knock from Kraken 2 takes out the master. DD Gaming's probably okay
throw
with that.
Quad X. Do the Quad X. Use it. Use Quad X and fade.
DD trying to avoid this fade spell. Cannot do it. The knight in the Mazmoon missed. The knight swinging the Mazmoon missed Kraken 2. DD comes back, has to use one of his 5 fade charges. Does take out Kraken 2, but it cost him a fade charge. But he's got all his light warriors. He's on to Tiamat 2 now.
That's a whole lot better than it costing you all 5.
Yeah. Very
But I was right. Quad X would have worked.
Okay.
That's what you have it for, DD. So if anyone's not familiar, Quad X is going to auto-kill if they're under 300 HP. And I was pretty sure Kraken was at that point with that great hit from the knight.
DD elects to leave his light warrior formation normal with the knight in the top. Tiamat 2 leads out with a melee attack, putting a pretty big gash into the knight there, Trenton.
Yeah, Tiamat doesn't have the raw strength that Kraken does, so this is a place where that makes a little more sense. But I would have rather to Cure 4 than an Invis 2 here.
4 hits for 495 from the Mazmoon wielding knight for DD Gaming's. Inferno from Tiamat 2 takes out the red wizard. 130 HP left on the knight. DD's gonna attack with fade from the white wizard. Gonna forgo the healing. Here comes that fade for 176. Damage poison from Tiamat 2.
He's through. And in much better shape. Just don't take a step till you heal up.
Life 2 from DD. Starts the healing process after the fight with Tiamat 2. 28 heal potions left now.
That's going to go a lot further here than they did last time. And he's got more fade charges. There's probably another encounter before you get off this floor. If it's unrunnable, you've got to fade to clear it out and go on to Chaos.
DG get... Oh, one step away. He gets 2 Nightmares and Evil Man, but initiative goes to DD. He's now in the Chamber of Chaos.
That's enough steps that you always better assume you're going to get an encounter.
Yep. Those wizard vampires, Triton. Neither of us are fans.
Alright. Set up. I mean, set up almost everything the way you set it up before. You did pretty good last time.
He did.
He just needed more damage. I really hope he moves the defense, if he didn't already.
Comment from Fruit Strike in chat. Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and copy that and take a look at it, and I'll work on that just for you. Please join us again sometime where we can make that happen. Right now, we're going to see if DD Gamings can make it happen. He's taking on Chaos, round 2.
Does DD not have fast? It
Fast
was
was
level
early.
5. Was it Red Wizard learnable? Or did we
Black
just
Magic
go back to
level
Melman?
5 is all learnable by the Red Wizard.
Okay, so it just was not a trip back to Melman. That's unfortunate, because that would be a game changer here.
Heal 3 from DD now. Let's see if Chaos continues the melee attacks that he's prone to. Ink skill. 1 skill closer to that nuclear. DD's got to know that. He's got this information.
So, what we
It's out of
saw
tempers.
last time was over 2,000 damage from DD Gamings was not enough against this Chaos. The concern is Chaos did Nuclear. Nuclear is a skill, not a spell. So when you see something like Fire 2, we're not any closer to Nuclear. It's when you see something like, I'm not sure what else he might have, but like an Ink, that's a skill, that's what moves us closer to Nuclear. Or if it's the first skill, then we're just worried.
There's the
comes
zap.
out.
2 Light Warriors down and exiled to the 4th dimension. DD Gamings is down to the Master, who he's using the black shirt to attack with. He's given up on the melee and the Knight. He's got max evade on the Knight now from the defense sword, and Chaos has cast it fast.
This is not a bad position to be in. He's really trying to take the Knight up to the point where this is just 1 or 2 shots, it seems.
Heal potions now. There's the Thunder from Chaos now. Takes out the Master.
Yeah, now's the time to attack. Oh, not much on that one, and it scared him into powering more. I don't like that. Keep attacking, keep attacking.
DD Gaming's attacking 693. There's the nuclear. There's the nuclear from Chaos. Not enough. 300 hit points still. 400 attack. Back and forth. Back and forth. Here comes the Knight with the Maz Wound. 693. Not enough. Chaos ain't too happy about it. He fires Blizzard. Back and forth. 433 from the Knight and the Maz Window. But Chaos misses. Fire 3 into DD Gaming's down. Not today.
Got it.
The Knight with the Maz Moon. 500 and some odd damage and change. Down goes Chaos. We have a winner tonight. DD Gaming's with an official SRL time. 2 hours, 7 minutes, 2 seconds. This man earned it. Chat, get out your GGs and congratulate this gentleman. DD Gaming's our winner tonight.
Spam those GGs. You can't give them enough. This was a rough one to get through. I don't care who you are. You earned every bit of it just to finish this one.
He earned a trick. Now, I felt like I was in there with him. I felt like I had the controller. Want to take out this Chaos, knowing that the nuclear was coming around, having that information. What do you feel about that, Trenton? Knowing that you've got a high HP one master boss, and that nuclear is on its way. You know, how do you? Would you rather not have that information, or would you rather?
It's tough because you have to assume, even if you're not assuming nuclear. By the way, if you could send the runners an invite, because when I crashed, I lost the IRC. You got to assume something like that is coming from Chaos. The biggest piece of information was what his HP was. And what I saw from it the first time was, if I can get a couple power gauntlets on, then I'm going to do reasonable damage. So I wanted to get enough on and then go into man mode, just swinging that Masamune as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. And is that your selection for the endgame weapon, I believe? Is it the Masmo?
Oh yeah, Masa, the only way that anything's beating Masa is Vorpal if you're getting basically no normal hits.
Right. If you get a high absorb and you're hitting, 2 for 30, 2 for 2, 4 for 4.
Yeah, it has to be a case of your normal damage is just not landing, and it's all crit damage, and that's the only way that Vorpal can outdo Masa. Even then, it's not by a lot, but it can. I would take Vorpal over Excalibur there because Chaos doesn't have an elemental of weakness to exploit.
SolarysDrix now has entered the Temple of Fiends Revisited. Gonna play out this game. Tough run for SolarysDrix. We counted at least 6 wipes in the ice cave. He saw all the enemies. He saw all the bad stuff.
He's seen more stone
Yeah.
effect poisons than we thought were in the game.
Yeah, we saw 4 of them. We thought there were 3.
Yeah. DD, as I was just saying in chat, GG, you absolutely earned every bit of this one.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I mean, what do you want to start with? You want to start with seeing Floater right away?
Yeah, seeing Floater right away is pretty great, but seeing it at 25k is a little less great.
So
DD,
that led to a very interesting routing choice from you early about how you got the money. Did you consider going a dungeon, or was it just, I'm gonna get levels and I'm gonna get money?
Yeah, I tried to grind experience as well as money, so I figured anyway, as soon as I got the airship, Ice Cave would be easy to reach, so why not?
DD, it's Will. Congratulations, GG's. Well played, well earned, as Trenton said. I had a quick question about the ice cave.
Yeah?
Earlier on, did you reset out of there? Did you exit out of there? We couldn't quite tell exactly what happened. You had to dive back in. Can you tell us what happened there?
Yeah, sure. Look, I figured just to add some challenge for myself, I would drop my controller right on my reset keybind.
Oh!
Okay!
Alright, well,
yeah, I would like a better explanation, but this is really what happened.
Well, I came up with a more convoluted one, and I was guessing you had the second controller up a map in a way to hit you.
Yeah, no, I'm just dumb. I just dropped the controller right on the spacebar, which is my reset keybind.
Okay.
Well, that mystery's solved, Trenton.
Will, why don't you ask DD the question you asked me about that chaos?
The endgame weapon?
No, the information.
Yeah, DD, we were discussing your first round through. You had Chaos, you had him at over 2,000 hit points. So you knew that he had a lot of hit points. You had to be close to taking him out. He got you late with the nuclear skill. You had seen the ink. You knew nuclear was a little bit down the ways. You knew he had the zap. You knew your ribbon situation. Do you like having that information and that knowledge going into that fight? Or would you rather just go into it and play your game as it is that you play your game and not have to adjust?
Yeah, well, I had to adjust pretty much all through TOFR the first time, because this was a rough one. But I'm gonna say this first chaos, even though I got all the information I needed, this first chaos was heartbreaking. I got to chaos with only the fighter alive, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna try anyway, I'm not gonna do it, but at some point, I really started to believe. Until I saw the nuclear.
Right. He definitely felt beatable from certainly my perspective. It looked like you thought you could get him. I mean, you got him for over 2,000 HP. It felt like he was going to go down. He had a nuclear in the back pocket that we didn't see coming, but you were obviously able to jump back in, major adjustments, got to him with more light warriors alive, and were certainly able to take out Chaos. On that first run into the Temple of Fiends, I think the Phantom got 2 of your light warriors and used a couple of life spells and continued on. Did you consider resetting at that point in time and not using those charges?
Yeah, well, considering how the seed goes, I figured that Solaris must have had some troubles as well, since he hadn't done yet or anything, so instead of resetting, I figured I would just go in and try to gather as much intel as I could before going back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have to ask
basically,
this
the only
question.
boss I did not get any intel on was Carrie.
I have to ask this one question because of an enemy we just saw. Dee, did you see anything in the seed that turned your party to stone?
Yeah. I think at the beginning of the game, and I reset while I was farming for money. Something got poisoned. The status poison. I don't remember which enemy it was.
Oh, and speaking of intel on Carrie, we just found out she had naked. So Solaris has run into 4 enemies that had stone poison.
And they got him every time.
The
I think I only
Agamos were
found
the
one.
highlight.
Oh, really?
Really?
Wow.
Down goes Carrie. All party members survived the nuclear. That's good.
Yeah, the first time I went to Carrie 2, I just figured I'm just gonna use Bane Sword since I had nothing else to do with the Red Mage, and it worked. So I did not know EI Nuclear as well.
I loved that place so much.
Yeah, but sadly, this is not how you gather intel.
A question in chat: what are the alternate final bosses? They're not listed in the randomizer page, but they're just a variety of different challenges, and it will tell you exactly what they are in the fight. But it's some combination that involves the final fiends.
Yeah. Also, I think there's a possible combination like 2 Warmech. I might be wrong, but I think I ran into 2 Warmech as the final boss at some point with a bunch of evil men.
I haven't done enough of that yet because I've been in tournament mode as those features have rolled out.
Yeah, Warmech and Friends is one of the ultimate final bosses. We had an exhibition race yesterday that I was able to participate in with White Mage as a guy, and that was the ultimate final boss. 2 Warmechs, and I believe it was 6 Evil Men.
Yeah, something like that.
Dee, you even up your record to 500. What are you thinking about the rest of this?
Well, I cannot afford to lose one more, so I'm just gonna go all in at the next race, just like I did during this one. Basically, I opened a lot of chests just to find at least one good weapon, because my fighter had like the flame sword for 2/3 of the run. And then I went into Mirage Tower, find the Masamune, so I was set. I was a little worried about the ribbon situation, especially since I couldn't find either a Dragon Armor or Aegis Shield at this point. So I kept opening the big clusters of chests, and I didn't care about like those single chests that are way too far.
I think Solar found the Aegis Shield and Mermaids, if not terribly far.
Aegis Shield was in Sky Castle.
Floating Fortress, yeah.
Okay.
The Dragon
Dragon
Armor
we definitely saw was in Marsh Cave.
Okay, so Solaris went to Marsh Cave.
Yes, Solaris apparently did
story.
not see the floater for sale.
Oh, okay, I
And
get
then if you recall, Ruby was in Ice Cave.
Yeah, it was. Ruby and TNT were in Ice Cave.
Yeah, so that's something that could definitely take you down the wrong path.
Yeah. But, well, at least the floater was easy to find. This is why I like to check pretty much every single item shop before doing anything else. You never know what you can find.
Tiamat may not have death touch, but touch is death. So 200 damage.
Well, this is still less than Kraken. This Kraken 2 hurt like a truck.
You made the decision to bring a black belt. Is that something you practiced with, or was that just on a whim?
Well, I like to bring a black belt simply because let's say I could not find any good weapons, I would have leveled up the black belt a little more. I mean, I'd rather bring a high-level black belt than go into TOFR with like the defense sword as my best weapon. This is not optimal, but this is a good backup strat. And in the early game, before you can find any good weapon, he can help.
Really didn't start with a lot. Confuse was the only really useful spell you had at level 1 to try and do anything with.
Yeah. I was a little worried about the spell situation until I got Fade at level 3. I never found Nuke.
Just in, something else turned your party to stone. Well fought.
Welcome SolarysDrix to the booth here, post-game interview. We promise we will not turn you to stone.
You're about the only thing that won't.
We thought there was only 3 because we figured out after the second one was on the Medusa script, and then a 4th thing did it to you.
Oh, it was just crazy. It didn't help that I forgot the floater was in Corneria.
Yeah, we were wondering if you had maybe not seen it.
No, I saw it. I just totally forgot. I thought it was the actual... I thought it was the crown.
Oh, and you had crown, you just thought that's what you had purchased? Or?
Yeah, I thought the crown was the purchasable item, and I totally forgot I had a crown in my inventory. I didn't even see it.
Oh, damn.
He did good. GG's. You stuck it out. You actually started to close the gap there a little bit because you had a really rough first half of that game. Your ice cave, I believe it was the 7th trip that we were able to see you finally get some success in there. You were ambushed constantly. I don't know how many times you got petrified. What was going through your mind? Was it, I need to get through this ice cave, get the power gauntlet, find out what the item is? It looks like you had a battle with the eye, and did you miss the chest?
Yeah, I missed the chest. And yeah, I just was like, this is the way, this is the whole game's going, just like that.
Real quick, I just want to say some thank yous. Tyrannex just had to depart for us. Did a great job with the tracking tonight. Cyclone got a setup here on Speed Gaming tonight, and stick around for a doozy of one. And thank you to all of you who have spent your evening with us. And of course, thank you to our runners, DD and Solarys. Or however I should say that, I don't know. It's after midnight, I'm tired.
I'm sorry about that. But this was a long seed. Please, don't be mad.
Oh no. Hey, I'm the one who rolled this nonsense.
Yeah, so we should be mad.
Exactly.
So I'm
no,
guessing, according to your commentary, I'm guessing Solaris you got ambushed by a lot of 7 to 9 enemies packs as well.
Oh yeah, in the ice cave, yeah.
Well, when mummies have blaze, race hit just ridiculous.
Yeah, this was rough. But at least I did not get petrified.
I was petrified so much I bought the soft spell.
Oh, I know, that actually broke my heart, because if you hadn't had that, you'd have gone back to Corneria faster.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this one from either one of you?
I'm gonna burn this seed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I thought my trouble would be pretty much over when I got to TOFR, but the seed decided to be a pain all the way. But seriously, this first chaos was the most heartbreaking I ever went through.
And if that doesn't sum up this seed, I don't know what does. So again, I'll say thank you to our runners. Thank you to all of you who joined us tonight. Thank you, Will, for jumping in here on short notice to join in with me, and for handling it while I tried to desperately repair my internet.
Triton, absolute pleasure. I've wanted to work with you for so long. I've listened to you forever, and an absolute honor here to be on Speed Gaming with you. Call this a wonderful match. I don't know if it was wonderful for certainly DD and SolarysDrix, given the enemies, but Triton did roll the seed, and the enemies came back grumpy.
Yeah, don't ever let him roll another seed.
At least wasn't Ruby required?
Yeah, we got Ruby and TNT. Yay.
I was hoping it wasn't Ruby required because I left it in there.
Yeah.
All right, well, again, thank you, everyone, and hope you all have a great rest of your night.
And GG SolarysDrix.
Yeah, GG to you too. Good luck in the next round.
Yes, likewise.